Just straight through. Like they move for 10 seconds. Like not just instant. It's like I'm sorry, I had no idea that was it. Lights on, no food. Lights on.
Beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't
Well, a beautiful way to begin today's service, Pam's immediate family lighting a candle in her honour. So today's service will be held by a candlelight too, which is a really lovely way to be farewelling her today. Before we begin, could I remind you, if you haven't already done so, to switch off your phones or pop them onto silent. That would be much appreciated for the next few minutes for the service. Well, good afternoon everyone, and welcome, and thank you for being here today as we gather in loving memory of Pam. I know that John, Darren, Natalie, Diana and their families greatly appreciate the friendship and the support that surrounds them at this sad time. My name is Gina Brady, and in 2019 I had the privilege of officiating Diana and Tony's wedding. It was a very happy day that Pam proudly attended with her family. It is once again an honour to be involved in such a special but also sad day for the Stanton family. Along with the staff here at Peter Murray Funerals, it is our hope that this farewell will honour Pam in a meaningful way and truly reflect on the things that made her the special and unique lady that she was. Well, firstly, welcome to everyone here in the chapel, and to those joining us via live stream, a very warm welcome to you all also. There are some close family members and friends that can't be here in person, but we do hope you feel a part of today's farewell. As each of you take this time to remember Pam in your own special way, may you be warmly reminded of how much she has meant to so many. Well, it is with sadness that we are gathered together today, but it is with grateful hearts we are here to remember and celebrate the life of Pamela Ruth Stanton, or simply Pam as she was known by you all. Today memories will be shared, and you will feel the sadness that Pam is no longer a physical presence in our lives. However, in spending this time together in this beautiful chapel comes the warmth of a life lived and a love and many friendships shared, and memories that will live on long after we say farewell. Today, we will give thanks for Pam's life, and we will honour her memory with this dedicated moment of warmth and much affection. So I would like to begin by acknowledging those who were most special to Pam. She was the devoted wife of John for 56 years. She was the treasured mother and mother-in-law of Darren and Kelly, of Natalie and Anthony, and Diana and Tony. She was the treasured nana of Stacey, Jacinta, Carissa, Madeline, Reese, Mark, Chris, Carly, Tony, Bria, Dale, Harley, Stephanie, Georgia, Riley and Jed. Some lovely grandchildren you have there, John. And she was a very proud great nana of Joey, Thomas, Paige, Ollie, Blair, Sadie, Kalani and Adeline, and so the generations live on. Pam's extended family, including her sisters Marjorie and Rosemary and her brother Alan, who are with us today. You are each an important part of her life, and I'm sure if she could, she would thank you all for the love and the happy times you've shared. Well, summing up a person's life is a difficult thing to do, for no eulogy or story can ever truly capture someone's journey. No matter how well each of you here may have known Pam, our words today will never truly do her justice. Each of you here have shared different experiences with Pam. You have all known her in different ways, and there are many things I'm sure you have in common. In the years that you have known Pam, I'm sure your memories will include her selfless, kind and generous nature. She would do anything for anyone, and she would always put others' needs before her own. There's no surprises that Pam's favourite colour was yellow, and it reminded her of the sunshine, and it's so lovely that many of you here today are wearing yellow, and thank you for providing the bracelets and the bows. I believe there's also some yellow crocs in the house somewhere too. Nice and bright up the back there. Pam was inquisitive, and she was interested in everything going on around her. She was also quiet and humble, but above all, Pam will be remembered for the love that she had for her family. She was totally devoted to John, her children and their children and families. You all meant the world to her, and she was such a proud and loving wife, mum, nana and great nana. Well, everyone here would know that Pam was practical and down to earth, and she lived her life never wanting or needing a lot of fuss made of her. However, it was important to her family that they get the chance to say farewell, and this service is a way to do just that. Today will be a simple and heartfelt celebration of Pam's life. So in preparing for this beautiful farewell for Pam, I recently met with her family, and they shared with me special memories about her life. With help from some extensive notes by Diana, here is just a little of what her family wishes for you all to remember. So born in East Brunswick on the 11th of October 1946, Pam had an older sister, Marjorie, a younger brother, Alan, and younger sister, Rosemary, all of whom she was very close. Pam attended Sandringham State School, then Rosanna High School, and growing up she loved to read. She would often go missing and could be found behind a door reading. Superman comics were a favourite. As a teenager, Pam loved going to the matinee movies with her brother and sisters. Apparently, when the baddies appeared on the screen, they would stomp their feet on the ground, and when the goodies saved the day, they would all clap loudly. Another favourite outing for them all were trips to the beach. The four of them would walk or catch the bus and spend all day swimming and enjoying the sunshine. Well, in early 1963, when Pam was just 16, her life changed in the best kind of way when she met John Stanton. They were both at the West Heidelberg Town Hall dances. Eddie Carroll was calling the square dance, and John literally swept Pam off her feet. They loved to dance together. The Pride of Erin, the barn dance, old-time dances and modern waltz were a few dances they mastered. Apparently on the night that they did meet, another man was pursuing Pam, but John wasn't having a bar of that. John cut him off quickly and soon won Pam's attention. Well, while they were dating, Pam and John loved to go ice skating, seeing movies at the drive-in, spending time at the beach and being with their families. Pam's first job was as a seamstress, making wedding dresses. She made her niece Pamela's wedding dress as well as her daughter Diana's dress and bridesmaids' dresses. She also worked as a laboratory assistant for a short time before she was married. Well, after 2.5 years of dating, John and Pam married at the West Heidelberg Presbyterian Church. Pam's dad Arthur gave her away and her sister Rosemary was bridesmaid. They honeymooned on the Gold Coast, and married life began living with John's parents in Swan Hill for a short time before they purchased a small home of their own. Both Pam and John spent a lot of time picking and packing fruits at the Stanton family orchards, and on their days off, there were a lot of happy times spent with John's family. Darren was born on Father's Day in 1969, but sadly their home burned down not long after. In 1970, the decision was then made to move to Thomastown, where they bought a home and made a fresh start. Natalie arrived in 1972 and Diana in 1974. A few years later, they sold up and lived in a caravan park in Craigieburn so they could save enough money to build a home in Eltham. They moved into their new house in 1977, and Darren, Natalie and Diana all shared some memories with me, and they all had great memories of their time living in Eltham. Well, Pam's family remember it was around this time that she did some babysitting at nights so she could save for a dishwasher. Big deal back then. She had always wanted a dishwasher, and she was happy the time had finally come for her to no longer be the dishwasher. Many here today would know that Pam was extremely intrigued with unexplained phenomena. Before It's News was one of her favourite websites. Pam was fascinated with UFOs, unexplained events and mysteries, and she spent hours and hours trying to come up with answers or explanations. One story her family shared with me was from 1978. After a night after babysitting to save her dishwasher, Pam came home and she drew a picture for John and Darren of lights and an apparent UFO she'd seen in the sky. The next day on the news, it was reported that pilot Frederick Valentich had described exactly what Pam had drawn when he radioed the Melbourne flight service. His radio cut out soon after his radio in, and he and his plane were never seen again. Pam felt very connected to Frederick's story, so she contacted his family and they remained in touch for many years. Well, in 1979, John and Pam purchased a Sonata 7 yacht, and this was the beginning of many happy adventures as a family sailing Port Phillip Bay and the Gippsland Lakes. Pam loved sailing calmly with no noise from the motor. She didn't like it when the wind picked up and the boat heeled, and John had a chuckle when he said he was very good at tipping up the boat. Well, as a family, many weekends were spent in East Gippsland. One day, while they were sailing down the Tambo River to look at a block at Bruthen, they came across a sign for a block of land on Punt Road in Meetung. John and Pam bought it quickly. It was always their dream to have a block on the river so that they could go sailing with their family whenever they wanted to. So for the next 8 years, John, Pam and the kids spent every opportunity in Meetung to build their home. A great deal of thought and planning went into designing their home, and they made the most of every possible aspect of the weather and environment. John and Pam were ahead of their time in regard to planning their build. They had the first solar panels, it was off-grid, and they were self-sufficient in so many ways. What people now call carbon neutral, i.e. the aim of reducing their carbon footprint to zero, Pam and John simply called life. It ended up one of the most eco-friendly houses ever built, and once finished, it featured on the TV and in our local papers. Well, at the end of 1981, the house in Eltham was sold and a move to Mulgrave was made as it was closer to the freeway and quicker to get to Meetung to continue building. For the next 4 years, Pam worked as a house cleaner and helped in the canteen at the kids' school at Waverley Park Primary and Brandon Park Tech. Darren, Natalie and Diana loved their days that their mum worked in the canteen because it meant that they could have a lunch order and a sunny boy. Well, Pam then got a job at a candle factory until 1992, and it was 1994 that they made the move to Meetung full-time. Pam spent a lot of time in her garden, and everything she planted was mostly from cuttings. John remembered that Pam was always pinching cuttings from plants in people's gardens, although if they were home, she would go and ask them. She wasn't shy in asking. And as you entered, I'm sure that you would have seen the little Hessian bags with seedlings, and I know that Pam's family would love you to plant them in her memory. Well, Pam loved the peace and quiet walks along the river, and she made some lovely friends at bingo. Norma, Gordon and Betty, to name just a few. But the best part of their move to Meetung was meeting Jeff and Robin, the best neighbours you could ever ask for. The Stanton family consider Jeff and Robin as family, and I know that Darren, Natalie and Diana are so grateful for the friendship that their parents have had over the years. Well, while we're on the subject of special people, everyone here today is very special. To all of Pam's friends, thank you for your friendship and for making her life here in East Gippsland a happy one. Along with Jeff and Robin, there is also Michael and Maria, who were great neighbours and still are great friends to John. And to everyone else who has contributed to Pam's happiness in some way, thank you on behalf of the family. Well, it was bittersweet for Pam when Darren, Natalie and Diana all left home to begin their journeys. She and John had done their job as parents, and even though she never stopped worrying about them, she knew that they would go on to live productive and happy lives. Pam was very proud to see them all married and begin families of their own. And although distance meant she didn't see them all as often as she would like, the phone rang hot every week with calls and texts from them all. Retirement in Meetung meant her spare time was spent doing jigsaw puzzles and crosswords. Both kept her mind active. When her own kids were young, she was very hands-on. She loved playing board games, pick-up sticks and cards with her own kids. And then when grandkids came along, it was board games and the pretend Mrs. Murphy. was a favourite. Mrs Murphy went on outings to the hairdresser and she went shopping, and there was also lots of pretend cups of tea. Well, Pam passed on her love of reading to her children and grandchildren, with Enid Blyton's Famous Five and The Faraway Tree a few of her favourites. She was also very creative with knitting and tapestry, and she has made many jumpers for her grandkids. She also inherited a love of music and theatre from her dad, and she loved going to stage shows and musicals. Well, in keeping with Pam's inquisitive nature, she and John spent an enormous amount of time researching family history, and they created a full family tree dating back many generations, which is a precious gift of knowledge and interest for future generations. Well, as we've heard, one thing Pam was renowned for was delving into the history of things. She loved to test her mind by investigating and trying to solve unexplained and ancient mysteries and puzzles. Knowledge was everything, and her family shared with me, with a bit of laughter, the times that the Jehovah's Witnesses would come knocking on her door to preach their religion. Instead of sending them on their way, Pam would invite them in and proceed to challenge their beliefs and explain why she thought the way that she did. Suffice to say, they rarely came back to the Stanton household. Well, Pam was truly devoted to her family. They always came first, and she was determined to protect them as best as she could. Pam had the attitude of hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and she lived her life with a glass half full attitude. Her family remembers she loved a sarsaparilla, thanks to her Uncle Joe, who would buy her one whenever they would stop on their way home from Geelong. And she also loved licorice and aniseed. It reminded her of her dad, whom she was very close to. Well, it must be mentioned also that Pam and her sister Marge had a very close bond. Years ago, they made a pact that if one passed away, the other had to leave a sign that they'd gone. Upon being told that her sister had passed away, Marge asked if it had happened at 2 a.m, because that was the time she was woken up by a voice calling her name. She sat up in her bed and she checked the time, and she knew it was Pam. It was then confirmed to Marge that indeed Pam had passed away at 2 o'clock. If there is a high being, Pam knew about it before it was news, and as promised, she let Marge know that she was leaving this world and heading off on the next chapter of her journey. Well, there's no question that Pam was one of a kind. She will be best remembered as someone who always saw the best in everyone. She was resilient and smart and practical. No matter what came her way, she just got on with things. Pam's close friendships are testament to what a respected friend she was, and her proud family are testament to what a loving, caring wife, mother and nana she was. Most importantly, Pam always wanted what was best for her children and their families, and it is with deep gratitude and thanks that they are remembering her today with much fondness and love. Now, as I mentioned, it's going to be hard to capture everything today, but that just gives you a very quick snapshot of the things that made Pam special, and I know that her family have so many more memories to share, and it will be hard to share them all today. But on that note, I am going to ask Darren, Natalie and Diana to come forward, share with us a few things that they'd like to say today about their mum. Thanks, guys.
So I'm going to be very short and sweet with my one, because it's going to get messy otherwise. So, Mum loved to solve puzzles. Whether it was a jigsaw or the mysteries of the universe, Mum loved to put her mind to finding a solution. She was never content to accept one version of the events as gospel. Instead, she would research and she would listen to all points of view and then form an opinion that rarely matched any existing version. Don't believe everything the TV tells you, she'd say. Ask your own questions. Mum, as I've told you on many occasions, the greatest gift that you passed on to me is the life skill of thinking for myself. Thanks, Mum. We all miss you.
written a poem for my mum. I wanted to write a poem for you, but the words just wouldn't come. All I could think through my tears is how I am losing my mum. So after many tears and memories, I've tried to put something together, because now it's time to say goodbye to my beautiful mum forever. Mum, I told you I was going to write this poem, so to my word I'll be true. I'm sorry, I don't know how good it will be, but I want to do it for you. During our childhood, you made us feel nurtured and loved, making vegetable soup when we were sick, baking birthday cakes and doing canteen duty. These are just a few that I could pick. You were very talented at sewing, always making us the latest clothes with passion. We had ruffled skirts, crop tops and dresses. Us kids rocked the 80s fashion. Always encouraging a love for music and theatre. We saw pantomimes when we were young. Moving on to Les Mis and Stanton and movie themes that we have all sung. As we got older and had our own children, you were such a fun-loving nan, playing tea parties and games with them, talking about Superman whenever you can. Whenever the girls had a question and the answer I didn't know, I'd say, that's a good one, call Nan. So off to the phone they would go. Without fail, you always had an answer. They thought you were so clever and tried to convince you to go on game shows, to which your answer was never. Although you are no longer here on earth, traces of you will always be found. Several generations on, you just have to look around. You and Dad created a family just by being together. Therefore, memories of you will continue on forever. Spring is already on its way. It's your favourite time of year. Flowers in bloom, birds are singing, so it feels like you are near. So every time the sun shines and I feel the warmth upon my skin, I will know it's you looking down on me. You will always hold a place within.
Beautiful memory. It's not an easy thing to do, so thank you for getting up and sharing those words in that beautiful poem. Now I believe Antonia, you coming forward? She's got something she'd like to share today about her nan. Her mum's her wingman and I'm her mum's wingman, so let's see how we go.
Dear Nan, thank you for being the warmest and most caring Nan that any of us could ever ask for. You have shown us all how to love, and how to treat others with kindness. Some days, all it would take is a phone call your way to hear yours and Pa's voice, and it would put a smile on my face. Suddenly, all the little worries I had at the time would disappear. I love listening to what you and Pa had been up to and what you had recently grown in the garden. You have this energy that makes people smile and want to be around you. Your hugs were always so warm and welcoming. I could never understand why you always seemed to underestimate the importance of you being around. You felt that you would just be in the way, when all I really cared about was that you and Pa were there.
She held such a huge place in my heart. My favourite memories growing up always come back to being with you and Pa. Spending the weekend or school holidays with you both was such a highlight for me. I remember never wanting to go home. We always had such a great time. From making bonfires with Pa to stealing all of Nan's dishwashing liquid to make a slip and slide. All the time when Nan had sacrificed the bottom of her shower for us to house a baby rabbit we had found. And then of course clearing out the crisper to feed it. I remember constantly thinking to myself or saying to my sisters, how lucky are we to have such fun grandparents, to have this amazing place to come to. Not everyone's grandparents were quite this cool. These are memories I will love and cherish forever and will always continue to share with Ollie and my future kids. All the stories, all the memories and the way you made me feel. I'm forever grateful for the way the stars aligned and you became my Nan. My one and only Nan. You may have left a hole in many of our hearts, but those hearts are so full of beautiful memories with you. Shine bright, my beautiful Nan. You'll be with me forever.
Thanks, Tony. I know that they're memories that you share on behalf of all of the grandchildren. I'm sure you all have very similar memories of your beautiful Nan, so thank you for sharing those. Well, Pam's siblings, Marjorie, Alan and Rosemary, would like to share their thoughts, love and respect for their sister also today. She's lovingly remembered by them as being intelligent, kind and at times a bit quirky, who was always up for a debate on just about anything, as well as a good conspiracy theory. We are sure she's up there now, smiling to herself, knowing that we are still guessing and trying to work out some of the answers ourselves. Above all else, she was very generous with her time for everyone and she had a heart of gold. Pam would often put other people's issues and concerns before her own, and she would always be a good sounding board and offer support and encouragement to others in their time of need. After growing up and as time went by, we all moved in different directions, but Pam was the glue in our immediate family, which extended to expressing a genuine interest in our respective wider families, along with keeping us up to date with news of her own ever-expanding family unit. She will be so sadly missed, but we will each and collectively have so many wonderful, everlasting memories of events and time spent together with Pam over the years. We have greatly admired her strength and dignity during these last trying times, and we also extend our heartfelt love and thoughts to John, Darren, Natalie and Diana and their families. So thank you for sharing those thoughts with Pam's family, and I know that everyone here has their own special memories of Pam, and a lovely way to continue sharing them is to join John and his very proud and large family when we finish here today. Connie and Andy in the kitchen are cooking up a storm and there's refreshments to be served, so as we do finish here today I invite you to remain behind if you are able, and that's a lovely way to continue sharing your memories and your stories. So on that note, now we have some photos to share. The Seekers are one of Pam's favourite, and there's a couple of Seekers songs to be played, and we are going to now enjoy a photo presentation of Pam's life, so please enjoy this trip down memory lane.
And I'll be
goodbye, my own true lover, as we sing a lover's song. How it breaks my heart to leave you. Now the carnival is gone. High above, the dawn is waking, and my tears are falling rain. For the carnival is over, we may never meet again. Like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. But the joys of love are fleeting, for Pierrot and Columbine. Now the harbor light is calling. This will be our last goodbye. Though the carnival is over, I will love you till I die. Like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. But the joys of love are fleeting, for Pierrot and Columbine. Now the harbor light is calling. This will be our last goodbye. Though the carnival is over, I will love you till I die. Though the carnival is over, I will love you till I It's hard to leave you all behind. Those loving smiles, so sweet and kind. I love you all, you're part of me. With you I leave the heart of me. It's hard to go, but now's the time. With loving arms I intertwine. There will be times I miss you so. It's hard to leave, but I must go. I won't look back along the way. It only makes me want to stay. With every step, I'm sure I'll find a different loved one.
had an ending before it was ended. And yeah, there was obviously so many photos to share there, and they were just beautiful. A beautiful memory of Pam's very happy life and so many special family occasions to share. So thank you for sharing those with us and those beautiful Seekers pieces of music. Well, I have a reading to share today. It's titled As We Look Back Over Time, and I would like to share it today on behalf of Pam's proud and loving family. As we look back over time, we find ourselves wondering, did we remember to thank you for all that you have done for us, for all the times you were by our side to help and support us, to celebrate our successes, to understand our problems, and to accept our defeats, or for teaching us by your example the value of hard work, good judgment, courage, and integrity. We wonder if we ever thanked you for the sacrifices you made and for the simple things like the laughter, the smiles, and the happy times we shared. If we had forgotten to show you our gratitude for all of the things that you did, we're thanking you now, and we are hoping you knew all along just how much you meant to us. Well, today, with love and gratitude, we have been remembering a life that has ended. Let us leave here this afternoon enriched by our memories of Pam and with the intention of living our lives to the fullest with integrity, kindness and generosity in our hearts. We know that Pam would want that for you all. While we are united in our sadness at her passing, we are also warmed and comforted by our special memories. Time stands still for just a moment as we acknowledge that Pam has touched our lives and she has left an imprint in our hearts and in our minds. Pam's passing has certainly left a sadness, but I hope it does give you all some comfort knowing how much happiness you have each given her and of how much she appreciated and dearly loved you all. As some people journey through life, they leave footprints wherever they go, footprints of kindness and love, of inspiration and happiness. Even though Pam has gone, we can still look back and clearly see the footprints she has left behind, and we will remember that her life was one of value and purpose, and it was filled with a whole lot of love. Well, inside your Hessian bag, when you open it a bit later on, you will find some seeds to plant, along with a beautiful little poem, of which I'd like to finish with today. Forget me not as time goes by, for you can find me in the sky. Forget me not, though we're apart, for you carry me within your heart. Forget me not, although I've gone, for my memory will always live on. Instead, remember me in every special way. Keep me close to your heart. We'll meet again one day. Well, Pam was never one to be in the spotlight, but today has certainly been her day to be remembered fondly and most proudly. And I'm sure if she could, she would thank each and every one of you, particularly the front couple of rows here, for being such an important part of her life. Thank you again for being here today, ladies and gentlemen, to surround John and his family with your love and your support. Now, as we finish today, we are going to finish with a beautiful song, very fitting, We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn. I will ask you just to stay seated for a moment, and then as I invite you to make your way outside, we will get ready for the refreshments, and then I'll invite you back in again. So I'll just be for a couple of moments that you'll be outside. Thank you again.
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where,